So super excited, and we're gonna find out how we're gonna get into things. It is cross-country storm, so nothing too ridiculous when it comes to how the map is gonna play out and dictate the match. But you are never safe at the end because that storm is constantly moving, meaning you're always gonna have to reposition and kind of try to stay one step ahead of the curve.
We'll see our first couple of drops coming out. Not seeing any key sort of early engagements here. Most teams are sort of staying as far away from each other as possible. BAP, obviously, Bashful players, they've dropped into the eastern side of the map alongside one more team as well. Not seeing any major engagements, so I think this early game is going to be a bit more quiet as everyone just sort of tries to feed each other out.
It's 6 feet away. I don't know if you've heard, COVID is very running rampant in the Skylands, apparently.
Yes, I like
So
that. That's a good reference. I enjoy that. Well done.
We're see what happens. As you were saying, everybody is really distant, and then that is something else that may develop with the meta. Is now that you have these items that have evolutions, you have a reason to farm. It's not always so much of did I get the tier 5, because maybe getting 2 evolutions after farming all the creeps on your items might be a little more important, and it just gives a little more decision making to teams, and maybe might slow things up. But with that said, immediately 2 teams are running into each other. We're gonna find out if they're gonna fight or just retreat, which is what I would expect them to actually do.
Here we've got Cathode Ray on the right-hand side of your screen. They were looking to engage against the Boomers to Men side, as you can see, but they opt to just fall back and happily play away from contact, recognizing they probably are a team to be reckoned with. Cathode Ray, of course, a team that are very new. They've never been within any of the show matches in previous months, so trying to see if we can see where they're going to stand. And I guess, again, recognizing the fact that they have got some prologue top 4s and top 7s in this team today. Probably not a good idea to engage them early until you've got a bit more of a better level advantage.
Yeah. No need in taking a needless risk, although sometimes the risk is doing nothing because they are giving up 2 blue armors, which obviously can impact them later if they happen to run into that team again, which I would be surprised, but you never know. And everyone just so spaced out right now. I kind of like what Lime Green is doing, you know, sending 2 members to one spot, 2 members to another spot, not necessarily saying we have to stay together the entire time, just maximizing maybe some of the items and some of the farming that they're going to be able to do.
We'll see the B2M side getting a hold of a vault here, so we should be seeing them upgrade their stuff a little bit. I did see that lime green side as well on the right-hand side. I believe that's also TRB, the Ronin boys, so we might jump on with them a little bit later. For now, we are just seeing Bashful players who, again, a key threat to watch out for in this one. They played as far away from any contact as possible here, spread out because they recognize that no one's in position to challenge them at the moment.
Yeah. I wonder if they actually used one of the UAV scans to know that they were so safe, because otherwise you could have been kind of giving your opponent a free, just gifting them a kill, if you will, on some EXP. But clearly very aware of everything going on as they just safely kind of take this camp. But not only are they taking the camp, there's a lot of gold down here, and that also could play a role later, just because getting so much gold when you do go to a shop, if you're down in armor, you could just buy one for one of your teammates.
Just boosting themselves up a little bit at this moment. We are seeing a quick look at some of the items as well available to the BAP side. So again, as you mentioned, sort of focusing on whether or not there's going to be any sort of new combinations here. I didn't see any ones that are special at the moment, at least from the small look that we had. But again, keep your eyes on all that, because that's going to be a key thing to focus on, especially for a team like BAP.
And one thing that just came to my mind is that with all the gold down here, now that you can buy weapons inside shops, it's only 1,000 gold. You know, you might be able to get an evolution just by stacking up the gold here, going to a shop, and then, bam, a couple minutes into the game, you already have 1 or 2 of your evolutions.
Yeah, plenty of potential when that does come about. Go on.
Yeah. Not sure if that's what they're doing, or maybe they're just hanging out. They know that they're the all-stars, so they're like, hey, everybody, all eyes on me. I'm the star. Look at me over here.
Let's not get too big for our boots, though. Again, there's some high-level teams and players in the server today. Although in general, we are just seeing everyone just sort of spread out, take on a bunch of mooks, just get your levels together, which I think is a very standard sort of game style, and just opting not to go too aggressive too quickly. I think the Bomber during last month's prologue really proved how viable of a strategy that can be. That being said, we have got engagements. 4GG just got a knock on somebody. I didn't quite spot exactly who, and I'm hoping that eventually we are going to see it. It looks like this is where the action's going down, but the fog of war has been enabled, so we will hold out and see exactly who's engaging who, and hopefully we'll give up that action as soon as we can see it.
And we are going to place bets between us, and we're going to say which team is it. But for whatever reason, you know, there are no bugs in this game, just to make sure everyone is well aware. But even though a fight did indeed occur, the two players that did die immediately came back up, just because we were at 40 players again moments ago.
Yeah, we have actually lost a couple right there, so a couple of knocks coming down against them. This actually might end up being a rather an interesting affair. As you can see that actually, yes, SB lost one of the players. The Super Bubbles side down and out by one individual. Not sure whether those revives can come in a moment's time. They have just sort of fallen back. Again, we are a little bit information dry at the moment, but we'll bring you those information as soon as we can. The BAP side, of course, just playing away from all contact at the moment, as has been the case throughout the entire game thus far. And hopefully we should be able to spot exactly where they stand at the moment. You can see where they are at the southern side of the map. They are making their way into the safer circle, so they should be protected here.
And I was joking and saying they want all the attention, but apparently they do. They hacked the game and we can only watch them. um, but while we still have a little bit of dead air, if you will, or just some time while kind of teams are figuring out exactly what they want to do, I want to hear your thoughts on, do you think that, the players coming from NA are actually going to play drastically different now that it's more of the little EU scene and kind of their meta? Or do you think they're just going to do what they normally do, which apparently is waiting for opportunities, but some of the European counterparts say it's running away?
Well, I will come back to that in a second, because it seems like we have stumbled onto a fight here. The BAP squad now engaging against the Avengers here, pushing them towards the outside of the map, trying their best to get one strike, and indeed, Sir Lionel has fallen to Venomous as part of things. Raiden's trying to see if he can hold off position, and they are doing some respectable damage, but nothing that is major. Venomous has been knocked as one player looks to engage. They do get one pick in, but High has now fallen towards it. They will look to engage and just try and force them back, as the Avengers have to just stand off here in no man's land.
And the Avengers, I mean, they're supposed to be avenging, they're supposed to be looking great, but I don't know, Marvel's looking like they might want a refund right now, might want to pick up some DC characters, because they're getting pushed away. Bash All players are definitely taking the fight to them. Are they going to risk jumping over that ledge, though? Are they going to go over the abyss? Looks like they are going to play it safe, but if you name yourself Bash All players, I think you just got to go over there, you just got to jump, you got to take the risk. I know it's scary, but play up to your name.
Well, they will look to at least put some shots over the bow, but you can see that no man's land has truly been secure, not only in terms of the difference between these two teams, but also where the foothold, strong foothold really lies, although there has been a teleport out of there, so the Bashor players can miss their chance to indeed Bashor players. They will get towards the shop, though, so let's see what they end up buying, whether they do want to go towards some of those more of the weapons that you mentioned a little bit earlier here. It doesn't seem like anything massive is coming out for them. They continue to try and give chase and find where they're going.
Yeah, right now, I don't think they need the chase. I think they need to get their ultimates. Right now, you might want to chase, and it looks like EXP's soul is about to be taken, but it's hard to take that fight right now when you were so delayed in actually getting your ultimates, and you're going to be down not just 2 levels, but more importantly, not having access to that 4th spell.
Well,
and they do give up the EXP soul.
Yeah, they do. But they are going to continue moving north regardless. They're going to try and focus again on trying to figure out positions. I think there is a fight going off to the right-hand side. You are seeing more knocks coming in on the kill feed, so we'll try and keep updated as to who's going out. But for BAP, it's just a case of leveling at the moment. They are still only at level 4, but that probably should change soon enough. Indeed, a handful of players leveling up right there. So bit stronger on one of our key teams to watch, although now they are about to engage.
Oh, and this is going to be a scary team to engage into. They have the Jewel, they have the Celeste, but they're actually retreating right now. Sandwich apparently planning to run the entire show match right now. This lobby actually retreating just a bit as both teams are fighting over this boss.
You see, Aiden was trying to hook one of the players and drag them into the open. That's not quite going to happen. It's a bit of a standoff against the boss. And Sandwich are going to push the Bashor player side away. They're going to actually retreat by default, so they'll have full reign of the boss if they so desire.
Oh, and that was really smart right there. Treadsy actually recalled to the campfire so that they could have gotten the high ground and potentially went for a pincer. But Bashor All players saying not the position we want to be in, choosing to retreat. And right now, though, you can't retreat any further. Gotta fight, and they are doing it. Jumping over the spicy water, even though it is lava right now. And Bash All players are definitely getting bashed at this moment. Sandwich has indeed sandwiched them, and they are just picking them off bit by bit. But somehow the pincer has changed, but it doesn't matter. It's now a 4v2. Gotta imagine Venomous and Stevenator are gonna try to retreat. Stevenator probably gonna try to stall, hold off, Sandwich and kind of let his teammate go find a res beacon. That's what I would expect to occur, at least.
Well, they were just pushed off one of those beacons, so they've got to find a different one. Stevenator might just get caught off. 2 players so quickly in pursuit. Darkin especially, and Adam CRV just pushing to the man, unable to connect it. I think they have just found a beacon. No, somebody else seems like they've done so instead. Steve's out of there. They do eventually give up the chase on the sandwich side, so they can make those concessions. And ultimately, not so great to be a time to be a Bashers player. Meanwhile, we are jumping back on board with the Cathode Race side. They have just missed out on a player there. I think they were engaging against the Ronin boys, but one is hidden in the grass, so they're unable to connect. They're unable to find that team knock. Yeah, not a fantastic position to be in, but they still hold a massive level advantage above the majority of the lobby here.
They definitely do. And 10 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, every single team still here. No one has been eliminated yet. There have been several close calls. However, no one has been able to really finish their plate, if you will. Oh, Bashor players.
Yeah, Bashor players going for the shot, but they've got 4GG close to contact. They will try and hook players, but they are just going to get mooks instead. Venomous will lead them around the outside as they try their best to keep as far away as possible. They have got those 2 revives in, so fortunately they get all their teammates back, but very little foothold to work with, and 4GG will know about it. But now here comes the Cathode Race side from the north, and 4GG have recognized that concern. They've got another concern towards their south. That's Super Bubbles that will opt to disengage. Bashor players are still hunting for their opportunity. Snow could get isolated, but they don't really spot them. They don't really look to push.
They don't, but there's 5 teams so close to each other. Things can change at a moment's notice. Sandwich probably has the best position out of everyone, either Sandwich or Super Bubble, and there are fights galore. We have one at the top, we have one at the bottom right as well. Super Bubble, though, looking at Cathode Raid and just not really fully committing, not making the engagement, and despite how close everyone is to each other, it seems like they're just respecting each other's space and still not wanting to commit quite yet.
Yeah, I did see Sandwich as well disengage from that upper fight, and that's a pretty much characteristic thing of Adam BY and Treadsy. Back during the prologue, they were happy just to recognize who the key threats were and like, right, we don't have to take this fight. We don't need to do so. I didn't see how the level advantage looked, but it's very characteristic towards their playstyle. Train's coming around, and there is a team that's currently boarding it, and that might run right into one of the opposition's side. That's Cathode Ray, as we do focus up towards more of the eastern front, where we do have one team that pretty much has a numbers advantage above another here. That's TRB. That's the Ronin boys, another newer team involved in today's lobby. But only 2 of them being spotted. I don't know if they got knocked out earlier. Not quite able to establish anything against the Sandwich side. They're about to take down this boss.
Yeah, and right now, still not too much going on, which is so surprising because of how close everyone is right now. But still, 10 teams remaining, and the Ronin boys gonna try to revive their teammate at some point, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to pull that off with everyone being just so close with all the res beacon.
Just again, holding on a standoff, basically. They have a level advantage. They could charge in and get these players, but they are concerned about Sandwich, who actually also make their moves. So smart call again from the Boomers to Men side. And this might be Sandwich's chance to really clean house and get some decent kills in. 4GG just eliminated Super Bubbles in the meantime there. You saw those kills going off to the right-hand side. And there's the first ones down here at this point. It's taken all this time, 13 minutes, to see our first team knocked out. Sandwich picking their moments appropriately. Treadsy now pushing on. Adam BY is on the eastern front, and they will look to engage, catch players, but get no knocks as of yet. Now B2M move on to this context, and the Sandwich players will end up engaging. They have knocked down one shot, and they look to completely back away, recognizing that they are in a 3-team fight. And Tom Kick and co may be in a bit of an awkward spot as a result. They also might need to back away, but they are just locked into the open. Engaged with spikes easily. Tom Kick and I believe, I couldn't see who that second player that fell was, but either way, that's not great for the Cha-Cha side.
It is not. In from the Cha-Cha side, oh, but Giant Churple saying, no, you don't get to bring your friends back. But they're going to try again. You got a magic Giant Churple. I don't know if you want to do a 2v1 while this is happening, but maybe I spoke too soon. Giant Churple saying, hey, you see my Twitch, watch big plays like this. His team trying to come up to support as well. But in some weird just exchange, Giant Churple is poking, not forcing it. I'm surprised he's not just reuniting with his teammate.
And they are just pushing him away. Eventually, they will just back off on the B2M side because they are fighting a war on 2 fronts here. You can see on the right-hand side how King Nidhogg actually looks to engage against the entire CR squad, and that goes about as well as you expect it to. One knock, and suddenly Boomers to Men might have a few more issues as the unsafe circle closes in. We've seen a knock on the Cholita's side as B2M try and make their way away. Pensato will join, try and Chiprel on the escape, but the CR camp are moving in to try and punish them here. They could get a couple of decent knocks Nox that cannot get revived directly. You see Fable moving on to Pensato, can't get the spike, but it can get one of the CR boys to fall. Slay down, B2M get away from Pensato, who is picked up in the end, and now TRB move on to the context, try to see if they can clear up the rest of the pieces. CR are caught off guard by it, stunned out, damaged heavily, one knock came in, a second player is also going to fall. I've got holds against them. CR not completely out of the woods. TRB have lost more than they bargained for here. Grindcore Thrall now engaging against Lembo, and now they've got SV on the top side to try and take him down. Indeed, he'll drop, and that leaves Ezib all alone, hiding in the grass for, I think, the second time in this game.
And this is just pure chaos. We waited so long for this moment, and all of a sudden, we went from 38 players down to 22 in a moment's notice, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down any time. You're in the storm, and you're not coming back. 5 teams remain right now. B2M kind of stuck behind SV right there, and a choke point, if you will. You gotta fight your way out, and you can't go north to that storm, repairing armor, but somehow fighting their way out of this, and S5 just letting them do it for free. But just talk about bananas, is everyone just colliding, and it seemed like it was just gonna be a snail's pace of a match, but the storm forcing engages, teams finally pulling the trigger, and just everyone exploding in a moment's notice.
It was slow for the first 14 odd minutes or so, but it has certainly picked up pace. As once again, SUPERVIVE, one of the newer teams involved in this competition, will end up getting caught between a rock and a hard place, and another rock, in fact. CR moving against them, so we'll look to do the battle of the newbies here against lower positions. Engage against the spike of Acme, caught by Gera. Nice start again for the SV camp.
Yep, and I love the positioning right now from B2M. They know that if there is a fight that breaks out, they won't have really anyone behind them. They can kind of third, fourth party, do whatever they wish at this point. With that said, though, I saw 4 teams. Where is the 5th one that is hiding? Are they already in the zone? Or, oh, they're just, yeah, they might already be in the zone, but going for a res right now with the storm to your back, I don't know how wise this is. Bash all players in prime position if they actually want to try to start this fight right now. But you should do it before the teammate comes up. The teammate does come up, and there's a beautiful choke point. There's no way you're getting through Oath. There's no way you're going to get through Myth. And it seems like a death sentence right now for CR. What you thought was a great idea, trying to bring your friend back. Instead, you're just gifting kills left and right to bash all players. And there's no way you're walking out of this. And you got to imagine, 4 teams remain at this time.
That's what I call the Valley of Death strategy. No way to move forward, no way to move backward, and no way to move to your left and right. You're done and dusted. CR down in 4th. We have also just lost the SUPERVIVE side. I believe just got taken down by Boomers to Men. So nice and effective. 3 players left, or 3 teams left, I should say. 12 players are what they have here.
Everyone still alive on all the teams, so it is an even front. But right now, bash all players, sandwich. And I forgot the last team who is to the north. I wonder who is really going to try to force their will, you know, make that first initiation. Just because if you are bash all players, you're kind of in a decent spot. You have so much real estate to work with to the right. But then if you are the purple team up to the north, it's kind of like you're stuck on a little bit of an island. Not sure if I'd want to be there. And they quickly recognize that and actually kind of just go southeast, if you will.
Yeah, we've got Sandwich, we've got Bashor players, and Boomers to Men is the 3 teams that remain as one of our potential champions. The question is, who is going to find who first? Sandwich are on the precipice of 2 potential engagements. You actually see on the minimap there to the south side, 1 player has broken away from the main force, and they might look to seek to strike in at the last moment. They tried this during the prologue as well. Look for the fights. See when B2M engage, and then just clean house when 1 player starts to fall. Aiden BY is going to get forced into the fight, though. Venomous made his way towards the left-hand side, as Stephen 8 is going to get caught outside of position alongside Kenneth and High. They will look to isolate 1 player, but quickly Sandwich dive in and push them away. B2M are going to look for their chance to strike as 1 player is so close to falling back here. Darky needs to be careful not to get spiked, and Kenneth falls away. Here come the nukes. Giant Chiprel looking for Tredsy. Tredsy could get forced into his own demise. Blown to smithereens by Pensanto. Darkin has had a chance to get his health back, and Aiden BY will keep Tredsy in play, but B2M, they're not done. They're going to clean up Sandwich. They recognize him as a true threat, and they'll do some more damage, but they won't get any more knocks or kills.
And I love the discipline right there from B2M. You know, I think almost anyone else would have said, we're going to force this fight. They actually backed off and said, look, we're going to poke, we're going to get what we can take, but we don't want to risk losing the game right now. With that said, though, They do have one of the teammates who have left, so this is a 3v4. I don't think Basketball players are aware of that, or they surely would have kind of forced a fight and did an entire engage right there. But everyone just kind of retreating, but Sandwich coming from the north, getting some vision right there by the Felix, and oh, that's not what you wanted to see. Darken, retreat, retreat, go back to your friends. And everybody's saying, hey, it's a truce for the moment. We have a couple more moments before we're really gonna force this fight.
Yeah, BAP were in a very awkward position because you would see they were getting quite literally sandwiched. Although that being said, they are looking to still engage against Sandwich, doing damage to Darkin. One player got spiked. They're now down to 3 players, and one's now frozen in place. Looking to get out of the way is Treadsy. Venomous from behind the walls will eventually look in against Aiden BY. Darkin's going to provide support because now these 2 players are left isolated, and they may be left for dead as well. Darkin low, now he's dead. Aiden low, now he's dead. And BAP and B2M will now look for the final fight. They've still got to consider that 9th player involved in this exchange. Outside of position, Treadsy may look for some sneaky plays, but this will be the most clutch thing if he can make it happen. Engage is doing a ton of damage onto the BAP camp. They will get height. They'll look for Venomous. They can't make their way around. Treadsy leans forward. 1 minute 45 on the revives here, so you have to try and see if he can get a decent knock or a kill back in. He can't quite find his individuals. King Nidhogg will engage as meanwhile on the north side of the map. They are continuing to fight between B2M and BAP. Damage has been done. BAP have fended off the offensive for now.
This can be huge. That most wanted. I don't think they're going to wait for him, but if an engage happens between B2M and BAP, you know, all of a sudden you can just come in, get that quick snipe, bring your entire team back, and all of a sudden you have the largest advantage on the map.
Yeah.
And Treadsy was thinking about doing it, but you know, BAP saying, hey, look, we know what can happen. Oh my gosh, this is so close. Venomous, you cannot get hit one more time. But teammates are there, friends are there. They say, we know what's going on, but all of a sudden just leaving again. Treadsy, just so nimble right now. And BAP, they want to get the kill, but they also don't want to give up and kind of get sandwiched. And what a position to be in. Oh, you got to imagine B2M looking fantastic at the moment. Gonna start licking their chops, licking their wounds, knowing that BAP has to come into them. The storm is closing in. There's a little bit of an island, but anyone that jumps might get sniped, and they just full send it, full engage, trying to fight themselves out of a rock and a hard place, if you will.
Here they move on, pushing B2M back. Damage has been done across the BAP camp. They will look for some heals. They hope to just hold off against No Man's Land. They've got a lot of breathing room to play with at the moment, but B2M are trying to close that out against them, just prodding away at each other. No particular side. Looking to make a play until Pensato gets involved in the mix, but he's pushed back so quickly here. B2M try and trade places with the BAP side. Damage continues to get done. Pensato needs to not be so reckless because that's going to lead to their disadvantage. Kenneth with that pick, and now they lean in for more. There is a decent trade. Venomous has fallen back, but abilities continue to come forward. B2M try and make their way away. One player could get spiked. Height protects himself for now. Lunathris now moves against him. Damage has been done heavily. They've got 4 players back in for B2M. BAP hold themselves away at the disadvantage. They need to work down this health desperately so. Nidhogg leans in, tries to drag Kenneth into the thick of it. They do manage to make their way away. B2M continue to play inside of the safe zone as neither side looks to come out on top until finally they dive in, they get their kills, and B2M have cleaned house to allow themselves to be the victors of today's EU show match.